Good afternoon, everyone. I'm sure, thank you so much for inviting us. And I think I was told that this is the last session, so we'll try to make it crisp. I think cybercrime looks to be a very interesting topic from my angle because whomsoever is heading probably a CISO position would know that this really helps for a lot of things, right? Getting your approvals. Cybercrime is always interesting. Let me take you back to the history, right? Cybercrime used to be very disruptive in the nature, right? 2007-8, when there was down ADUB and all the viruses kind of things coming out in the world, it was most disruptive in nature. But if you talk about today, cybercrime is all about money, right? I think 90% or I would say 100% crimes are happening and thanks to Bitcoin and NFTs, that if you are an attacker, no one can trace you back, right? And that's the beauty of today's generation, right? So, and we'll be talking about all the aspects of cybercrime during our session. So let me start asking you basic, just start an initial talk. How is the trend going on the cybercrime, right? Maybe Shashank, you might want to start.
Sure, Falan. And again, thanks, Tascon, for inviting us all to discuss on cybercrime. So, talking specifically on, say, BFSI, because we are on BFSI panel, and I guess cyber, crime is all about cyber theft. And once you're dealing with financial information, financial transactions, it's all about, data protection and data security from a CISO's mind. And of late, because of the payments getting more online, more digital, the involvement of as digital drives business, as we see a lot of rise of fintechs and insurtechs, I guess the technology is growing not just for customer acquisition or for customer transactions, but it also is being involved in overall business for that matter. And it's just not the fintechs or the BFSI. We are at large, we see tech adoption growing post-COVID. And that has actually given rise to a lot of innovative ideas in criminal mindset also. Like we used to have a lot of KYC and OLX related frauds, but now there are OTP frauds, and of late I was actually creating a circular in which I had to involve all of awareness sessions on all of those topics, and I thought that I was just limited to QR scans and OTP, and there are so many different innovative ways of stealing money or stealing information, be it as lame as stealing PAN card information, and how they will use it is very innovative in other ways. They might use that particular information for procuring some other products, and that's where being at the forefront of the handling of such critical data, we have to strategize accordingly, and obviously we are at obviously lagging from that manner when the innovative mindset is increasing in the criminal side. We have to be also start getting a lot of security innovations rather than just staying by the book or staying by the defensive layers mechanism. So we also start to innovate ourselves on the security landscape. So yeah, that would be my thought.
That's a lot. I think you've spoken about almost all the areas we'll be talking in detail. Pawan, your initial thoughts around the trend?
So the trend we have all lived into, the way it has evolved. If you look at it today, we are talking about ransomwares. Earlier it used to be attacks created by the threat actors, which targets the organization. But today you can buy it as a service. So you can buy it as a service as low as $10 for the kit and $40 for a kit and $10 per hour basis. You can hire an attacker and plant a ransomware attack in a particular organization. Let's not go too far. I mean, ransomware is going to stay there for a long period, and we have to live with it. It's kind of a COVID that there is no medicine to it. The way it is evolving, it will keep on evolving, and we have to live with it. The more you put controls, the more you will be immune to the recent attacks and or the new variety of attacks, and you will be able to minimize the impact in the organization. I would not say mitigate or completely eradicate the attack, but you will still be able to mitigate that out. If you look at it in last 2 years, the way it has evolved, there were around 500 domains registered every day in 2020. They were definitely not for businesses, but they were for various reasons. For creating phishing attacks, for creating dummy websites, creating different payment links sent across. Everyone must have got COVID SMS learn from, schedule an appointment for a COVID vaccination, or click on a particular link to learn more about it. And during the IPL season, we anyway see everybody needs a free t-shirt, so there is a circulation which happens. You fill up a form with your personal detail and you get a free t-shirt, but that free t-shirt never comes. So we all are vulnerable, and we know that we are going to be vulnerable, but still we keep on doing such things. Another example, let's look at the real life example. We go to shopping mall, right? Everybody shops today. There is nobody in this room would have not gone to the shopping mall. There is a person standing with a pen and paper, ask you to fill up a form, and he gives you a free holiday. We happily fill it because we are getting a free holiday. But that's the personal information which you are splitting. India is known for vomiting information, and we keep on vomiting the information in one form or the another. Similarly, there are many examples which are there today. Recent example I always talk about, but nobody has focused upon it, and I still want to emphasize on, is school collects a lot of information today about parents, about children, even the financial information. Some schools ask for the financial information of parents as well. What are they doing with that information? Where are they keeping it? Have you ever checked? Have you ever seen what those documents are kept for, and for how long are they keeping those documents? Nobody has looked at it. But somebody has to look at it and question that out, that what are you going to do with this, do with that. I at least questioned during my child admission to a school, and I have restricted them to use any kind of information. But the point I'm trying to emphasize on is, everywhere we vomit the information without even realizing what is going to be an impact. I'll give you another example with my real life case. My mother was hospitalized and I was filling up a form. For the attendant, they asked for a PAN card number, Aadhaar number. I said, why are you asking Aadhaar number for a attendant? You don't need that. There was no answer provided to me for that particular question. I kept the field blank, and still they continued with that. But that was there in the form. So happily people will fill that information because that is required. You are in a state of worry at that point of time, right? Whatever hospital is asking, you will provide that information. But who is looking into for what purpose are they getting utilized? Today we don't know. Even for flight tickets, somebody is asking information, we give Aadhaar card or a DL or a PAN card number. What are they doing with that? They don't need it. You can simply write the date of birth. That is what is needed for the flight booking, right? Nothing else is required, but still people ask for it, and we happily give that as well. So these are the things people should be aware of that as well. The threats will keep on increasing, the threats will keep on improvising, and they are going to stay there, and makes CISO's life much more vulnerable and much more worrisome. We will going to have sleepless night. The only way to look at it is, and to eradicate it, spreading awareness. And the more we spread awareness, the more we'll get contained, and we'll be able to create a better environment. I'll stop here, otherwise I'll keep on talking.
Very well said. You have hit all the points which is no one can probably say no, right? This is real world, and everyone is probably doing the same thing, right? So Navaneethan, from your side, what are the cybercrime trends you see in your industry or area?
Absolutely, and I think we should be very careful in terms of hospitals, schools, and then aircraft. He has given a lot of set on that. So just from my personal standpoint as well as from organization standpoint, we see it's a two vertical. One is from the organization who is providing services. It's maybe the B2C, B2B. And second one is maybe as a customers, right? I mean, as a customers, what are the things we have to take care? So both of them will have the responsibility to take care of the cyber crime as well as cyber fraud. The cyber crime can be, the handle with the respective technologies, what is being, used as an end user as well as from the organization. That's on the bigger way. And second one is a cyber fraud. That's what it is. I mean, from last year to this year, it's close to 38%. It's a rise only on the cyber fraud. It's purely because of, in terms of, what are the banking we do, right? I mean, if you look to the banking standpoint, NPCI and then UPI, they have brought in terms of transactions, in terms of milliseconds, microseconds of transactions, right? But the same way we have a banking also. Banking, if you want to do any transactions, maybe the same, maybe 1 lakh if you want to do the transactions. You have to get into the, maybe the app, and then you have to do the CAPTCHA, username, password, OTP, then only you can transfer. Same process still it's continuing. But in the UPI, just if you take it, it's just a fraction of seconds, right? Just to give the UPI pin, it's more than enough. You can do the transaction of this 1 lakh. So both the things, it's play a very significant role, right? But what kind of environment, how it is being used is a matter there. Because where you have a pull and push concept in terms of UPI, that's the way the most of the fraud it was happen in the bigger way. And coming back to the industry, it's maybe from the enterprise standpoint, what the major threats, what it's happening is on the API. Specifically, I'm talking about the banking. And it's very difficult, right? If you take any CISOs and then CIO or maybe head of security, to come to the conclusions like just giving this many APIs I'm handling. Let us take, I have a 3,000 APIs, this many hit, and out of this many APIs, these are all PII informations which is carrying with this other organization. It's very difficult, right? If you take a dark web data, what are the data is rolling around from end to end, it's mostly it is pulled from the API. Because the entire database is compromised through those API, right? So this API security, it's a bigger one. And second factor is in terms of the SaaS, the product. If you take any fintech or maybe any recent product-based organization, they have a chain of technologies which is incurred from the third party. At the same time, it's built internally, right? So really, we are not sure the supply chain where it has been broken and what are the information is passing from the customer, where it is passing, where it is processed, where it is stored. Really, we don't have the informations. Like how it was happened with the SolarWinds, right? I mean, it's supply chain. It's a bigger risk. We strongly trust the other trusted rows and they are getting to your organization. But really it is not. That's what just, our zero trust concepts also come into the picture. Whether it is a third party or maybe the SaaS provider, how we have to take care from end to end.
Yeah, very well thought, presenter. I'd like to add one thing here. Now I think cyber criminals would be thinking whether to actually rob a bank or probably go to some middleman and probably hack the data, right? Because information is everywhere. No one knows the perimeter of it. No one knows where the data is passing through, probably a roadside shop, right? From the API systems, I don't know how many APIs probably everyone is building every day. I don't know. I don't really know whether organizations really have the inventory of all the external facing website. It's a question, right? And I'm sure the day will definitely come where we'll have to actually do the physical asset verification of the APIs, like we do for computers and assets, right? And that's how it will work, right? So I think your initial thoughts, Naseem, from the trend perspective.
Well, first of all, I think, all of them are cover everything. So the only thing I can add actually, the importance of cybersecurity or the trend is that, it's going to your geopolitics as well, right? Today, how powerful a country is also depend how much, powerful of their cyber wings. So, we can see there are a lot of, news is available for this Russia and Ukraine war, right? So there are people who are discussing about things that, I really don't know where exactly I'm going on, and all this data, all this information is, already available with the opponent. So that is one thing in this, I believe in past, there are cases like this US election case is also there, that at analytics, I think, I forget that name. So there were, that kind of, things are going in that level, so that, even microeconomics, things are playing over there. So I think Pawan told about it that we are omitting, information. I think awareness is something, we really need to look for it. We really need to, think that what exactly we are passing or we are sharing over a, open platform. So that is one thing, I think we need to talk more about it. We have to create that, awareness or sensation, about that information passing thing. So it can be API, it can be, digital, it can be, I would say in the form of physical data as well.
So very interesting. Yeah, thanks for that information. I think everyone touched upon the area of awareness, and I'm sure it's a mandatory, obviously, don't quote me everywhere, but regulator also mandates awareness to be done, and we do all the tick in the box, probably annual awareness, we keep saying the same thing, don't share password, but I'm sure people are like still writing old way of doing it, right? And you say don't do tailgating, but I think everyone does the same thing, even by knowing or unknowingly, whatever matters. How do we actually do awareness better, right? Let's talk about it. So let's hear from everyone that, okay, how do we actually do better awareness? How do we ensure that people really understand the issue or impact of any of the data leak, right? Pawan, you may start, yeah.
So I can give an insight that how we are managing that internally. So practically, I don't go by books within the organization. So there are, so what we do is we create use cases and pick up real life examples. And basis that, on the basis of those examples, we create our awareness campaigns within the organization. And we circulate that with do's and don'ts. Three things are very important in an awareness. One is telling people what they have done. Second, what they should have done and what they should not have done. If you don't pass that message correctly, any of the awareness campaign will go for a toss and it will not bring an effective value. Today, if you ask me whether it has brought any advantage to the organization, and I'll be transparent here. For few campaigns, I thought that yes, it is working, but the last campaign I ran in the organization, the phishing campaign I'm talking about, it made me worrisome because the number of people who clicked on the phishing email increased. Whereas I saw in last two campaigns, they were decreasing. Suddenly, this time they increased. Now I have to rethink a new way of educating people that they should not be clicking on those many such phishing links which are there. And they are deceptive. Normal people will not be able to understand. One of the important things which people should realize is the phishing attacks are not different for a corporate world or for an individual. They are the same. Today also I receive an email from some of the king who has left fortune for me. And if I share the information or transfer some money, I'll get that fortune. But where is that prince? Nobody knows. And they never come. But your money is gone. And similarly, that happens. Today also, I was having a word with my CFO. He was telling me that he received an email to transfer some X amount somewhere. But where is that X amount or to whom to transfer that money? Nobody knows. But yes, the mail which says the name of the person was the CEO. But nobody looks at the complete email address. It could be deceptive. It could be similar. But you have to read between the words. There are some common learnings which we have learned, and I try to pass that as hackers are not good with English. So you have to read through the email. Second, there must be some word they have missed out while in the domain. That's how they create it. And sometimes the email address itself is completely different. So few checks you can teach people. And those were proving a result to me in the last two phishing campaigns, but not the recent one which I ran. Which gave me a sleepless night that number of attacks have increased. We were talking about evolution of attacks. So now ransomware we all heard of. Now they are not ransomware attackers, we should call them. They have become extortionists. So they not only encrypt your machine and take the money and decrypt it, they steal the data as well. After 6 months they are going to come back and ask you for money as well. It is up to you and your appetite to look at it, how much you want to entertain them. If you are self-sufficient and you can recover the data, I recommend that you should not entertain those people. But if you can't, then you anyways do not have an option. You have to entertain those people. Another aspect I would like to add here is, we talked about ransomware, we talked about evolution of these, but humans are the base. Human are the weakest link. Now there are many examples which we have seen. Today, everything happens with an action. An action is to be taken by a human only. So that's the reason awareness plays a very important role, and the more we cultivate or bring it out to a level where they understand that language. The problem with CISOs and technical people is this is what I've learned in my life as well. We always talk about technical languages. We talk about product, we talked about technology, we talked about advantages of technology and use heavy words there. Normal people don't understand that. You have to curtail it down to a level where they understand what message we are trying to pass. And that is where the awareness campaigns plays a very important role. And those campaigns have to be created in a way that person, whoever sees it, read it, should be able to understand.
Very, very nice. I think I'd like to add here, right? So there was a use case where what we did in our organization, we did phishing campaign, right? Typical way. Then we did a lot of things on the awareness, right? Annual training, so many things. And then we again did the campaign, and earlier it was like X users clicked on the link, now X+1. And I was like, okay, what happened? So all the senior management was sitting and I was showing the result that what we'll do, right? What innovative we do to ensure that people don't click on the link, and like everyone was silent, and there was one answer came, Fal, you have done good job this time, right? You have attracted more people this time. I was like, okay, yeah, this is the reality, right? Everyone is learning thing and still again making the mistakes, right? So yeah, Shashank, over to you.
Yeah, no, very rightly said, Fal, right? And the worst aspect we were discussing that it is getting creative, the ransomwares are in the market, and it was not there 5 years back. But if we see the first point of impact has always been a phishing mail, which lands on to your corporate mailbox, and we are still, I guess that's still the easiest way of getting your insider that say in, as Pawan also saying that it has to be an action given by your the human touch point, and it all depends on, I guess there's a lot of to do around the processes also. Because if we are deploying stringent processes and process control, be it say on access level or be it on privilege level, then we are actually boiling down to that granular. And as Navaneethan was also saying, that zero trust is all about a framework, and we have to, I guess, imbibe that zero trust along with awareness and a lot of building up that culture, because as lame as an email, if it is still the first point, and it's really bad for us, because that's the same, you can say the same weapon has been used again and again.
Yes, right?
Yeah,
The same method, same people, same kind of mistakes, right? And it keeps on happening.
Yeah, so obviously we do follow the drill train, as you rightly said, keep on doing some kind of phishing attack, and again then train them. But I guess it is more or less building that culture, so that anyone who is having a cup of coffee and they are discussing security, I mean, that rarely happens. They all discuss about business, they might discuss about sports, but no one discusses about cyber or, but that is, I guess, the more financial inclusion or digital inclusion is happening in technology. When Pawan talked about school, nowadays everything is also becoming online. So a lot of stuff is getting, tech driven. And therein, it is actually the digital convergence is so happening that my life as a CISO for CredAble, as my own personal life, is also converging on the same endpoints. And this has happened because of obviously the telecom revolution or adoption of internet, increasing across the Indian geography. So I guess it is predominantly that the driving factors is that we are using technology more and more, be it for our corporate affairs or for our personal reasons. And that's where my digital being or a digital Shashank version of myself is equally risky. That the risk profile of that person has to be dealt with very seriousness. So I guess this is getting it. It is slow, but yes, I guess as the KYC related things Pawan was telling, or as Navaneethan pointed out, that we have to now start analyzing the APIs, because lot of digital acquisition, digital payment is happening over APIs, and a lot of business discussions happen as okay, this can be done via API, or this we will require to have a manual process built on it. And then the quickest way is obviously an API, but it is the quickest way is obviously the riskiest way also many times. And we have to follow security clearances, security checks all the time. So I guess that's my point.
Yeah, oh man, that lot of things around risk assessment, it comes, right? There are so many times in the organization, you have to keep building the culture, saying that, look, CISO bhi beech mein aayega, right? You'll have to build that culture. People probably will have a afterthought saying that, look, let's build the product, put it in the market, and then fir dekhenge, right? So I think that's a very valid point, right? Awareness from your perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an amazing thought from Pawan and Shashank. See, from awareness, from my standpoint view, not only for the employee, really it is required for the family members also.
Very interesting.
Because the technology has reached everybody's hand, right? I mean, in terms of if you want to do the fraud, it may not require to be there in the organization. After this pandemic, now there's no demarcations like where you handle your personal data, where you handle official data, as well as where you are in a physical office, or maybe you are in a beach or road, or maybe a restaurant. If you go to the restaurant, maybe so many people just there attending the call, having breakfast, and really we are not sure who is talking what, and then what's the information it is feeding, right? So that's why it is completely mixed. I mean, it's very difficult. Earlier we had a bring your own device concept. Now it is absolutely gone. So that's why awareness we needed from both the sides in terms of employee as well as from the organization standpoint. See, what interesting stuff is we have done is from awareness. we have a lot of challenges from end to end, right? Always we do the, the phishing simulations and spear phishings. We went a little bit ahead, and maybe I can ask, how many of you use Facebook live updates? Like I'm in so-and-so hotel, I'm attending TrustCon conference. Any of you guys, live updates? Amazing, 1, 2. Anyone else, live updates? Check-ins. See, awesome. See, what will happen is, what kind of simulations we do is, we monitor all CXO's profile, and who are all just doing very critical infrastructure, whether it is a DevOps or maybe the DBA or maybe the critical infrastructure, whoever it is maintaining, right? We monitor their complete database from the Facebook, LinkedIn, and then Twitter. We have a separate team where just we completely monitor like what they are doing, what they like it, what they don't like it, what is the plan for their movies. So very simple. What is simple exercise we have done is we have sent the movie tickets to the, close to 18 folks. I mean, who are all the top guys? It's a hit movie. It was, about a hit in the theater. We sent the movies along with, we sent the coupon codes. The coupon codes, just I have given the link also. Just click on the link, feed the, the coupon code, your reimbursements of tickets, all the things will be in this. So there we have seek for your company credentials. And because just we wanted to know how people are conscious in terms of giving this company information, right? That's where we have catch hold of those guys. These are the things it's not expected to give the company information. And maybe the second example, I mean, since we have many stuff, but the second interesting stuff is what we have done is, we have sent a USB disk. It's encrypted, but where we have injected malware on the, the pen drive. Of course, once injected, there is a EDR in your system. It does the detection, but however, for those guys, we have done the exception. And we have sent it to the postal to all the guys with a code and all, play code and all. We put it like, we want to encrypt your laptop. Please feed this in your laptops and then ensure that you are in a secure enough. Just we got certain results, and it was a little bit, see, if you heard somewhere there is an accident, it's a news for you, right? In front of you, if the container comes and stands and then apply the brake, then only you will feel the heat. So that's what we create awareness, so that it make the huge impact across the organization as well as industry.
Very well said. I think nowadays even laymen are getting, thanks to the attackers again, that SBI update your KYC or probably Vodafone update your KYC, right? I think people are getting, almost everyone is getting SMS only every second day, right? And I'm sure no one would be nowadays giving the details. I think the percentage ratio of attacker would also be going down, right? That they'll have to find new ways of probably attacking people, right? So I think, yeah, go ahead, your thoughts, please.
I think let follow Navaneethan, style. I like it. Okay, how many of you, using your fingerprint or facial recognition for your phone? For phone, I believe everyone, right? So let's say if this data has been gone to somebody else, are you able to change it? So I think that's the problem. Even if somebody asks you to, share your fingerprint, we are not going to share. But in terms of, convenient, we are sharing a lot of information. So again, that's the problem. I feel the awareness should come from a personal touch point. Let's say if you ask as a employer to, do a number of things to safeguard your company data, it's better if I create that awareness with some personal touch. Let's say if you, use this kind of convenient in your phone, I'm not really sure what kind of app is available in your phone, and they can easily get all this data, right? So we need to look for those kind of information before we are sharing those data to anybody. And yes, there are certain technical solutions. I think phishing, email solution, there are DKIM, SPF, you can implement JTA, you can able to reduce something at the same time, to continue with Pawan. Like human being is the weakest link, at the same time it can be the strongest link, or I would say that's the biggest firewall for your organization, for yourself, your family, anybody, right? So I'd say before sharing anything, just think twice, especially whenever you are sharing something which cannot be changed, like your fingerprint, your facial recognition, all these things. Over to you, Phil.
Yeah, very, very well, crisp answer, Naseem. Thank you for that. I would like to now talk about the technical solutions. Like everyone talks about zero trust or probably SASE model. Let's talk about it, whether this really helps us to strive further having all the latest API security issues or vulnerabilities or I don't know, log4j, suddenly someday you realize that all your applications are having this vulnerability which exists since almost 7-8 years, right? So do you feel that probably, or you can start, anyone can start, that how do we ensure that probably we start with zero trust, add some flavors of SASE and then take our organization to the next level?
Let's start from Naseem.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, zero trust. First of all, I think there are a couple of discussions that zero trust is some product is available in the market. So please come out from that concept. Zero trust not it's just an architecture or it's a framework you have to enable for your organization. But the concept is coming like that. How exactly you want to do it. There are multiple ways to do it. There are you can put one layer of security in terms of your identify the user. You can put one layer of security to identify the device the user is using. You can put one layer of security the demography where exactly the user is in. At the same time, if you have your SOC team, they are doing the reconciliation, they are doing this correlation, it will give you more details. So I'm just passing on this to fellow members, so they will add more point.
No, amazing. It's a couple of points on top of Naseem just mentioned. Definitely it's not a product. SAT is it's not a product. Absolutely, it is the framework. It can be applied in anywhere. It's maybe in the applications. It's maybe in the network, or it's maybe on the cloud. See how you are going to apply, how you are going to enforce is a matter, right? It's mostly we do it in terms of network level. Network segmentations, like who has to do what, and in terms of user privileges and then user access control, the enforcements. So always we trust, but we want to verify whether you go to the CEO also, CEO why you wanted to access, night 10 o'clock on database. And if you are the admin of the specific department, just why you wanted to have access on, the core database, right? So whoever it is, maybe you are the trusted guy within our organization, but really we wanted to verify whether are you authorized to have access on the respective angle. So that's why it help in a lot of aspects. Second level of stuff is what we have done is, most of the things if you want to have on the ground reality, one of the organizations they have claimed zero trust architectures, but the problem is this applications they have trusted with OAuth. In a social media login they have allowed, and this one of the social media they went ahead on in terms of the major breach. I don't want to mention the name, it's like 400 million accounts, username, password, it has been compromised. So the people they have logged in with their respective, the OAuth, right? So now it is very trusted, right? You are thinking like over the social media they trusted guy, but they have a privileges access on your environment. So once their credential is compromised, not only that person's, right? Anyone can log in with the credentials and they can penetrate to the network. So this is what it is to play the role, right? What exactly the architectures you wanted to play, where you wanted to allow OAuth, where you wanted to allow the FIDO, where you wanted to go with maybe the OTP based, where you want to have maybe biometric and then facial. So we have a lot of identity access management, but in terms of what applications, where we need to verify, and then where we have to, what level of access needs to be provided. So that's the things I think if we enforce, I believe we'll be achieving, zero trust model.
Yeah, so I guess to add on to Navaneethan and Naseem, obviously inherently, I guess cybersecurity or security engineers, we work towards zero trust only. Because, our force of control is obviously access, the need to know principle, these are the basics, whether really, Shashank is required to have access to production servers as a CISO, no, it's not required. So, want to grant them. And that is, I guess, that's at the core of zero trust. Like we don't trust anything or anyone. But what has happened in the past or in the recent past is that the perimeter or the corporate firewalls, they have been kind of overwhelmed because we are working from anywhere, from any device, any location, and on any device. So that is where I guess that orchestration part of SASE comes in along with all new age products which have imbibed that zero trust in them, and that's what they kind of, is their USPs also what they kind of sell. But as I guess their intention is that that your endpoints are your new perimeter, and your identities are your next control, because you have to control our identity, and basis the identity we will have access. So if we have that kind of framework, that would in fact imbibe as zero trust.
Very well said. Very well said. Yeah.
I would just like to add, since my co-panelists have already clarified about Zero Trust and SASE. SASE is amalgamation of multiple technologies, and Zero Trust is a framework, not a technology. So I will not go in detail of it. What I would recommend here is whenever you are evaluating a technology, or whenever you are preparing a amalgamation of multiple technologies to work for your organization, don't just go by the name. I have burned my hand by going with just a name without even realizing that some of the things might have not been compatible with the older technology which are there in the environment, which could lead to a loophole as well. So that is a learning which is there, and I always recommend that to do a thorough POC of a particular product before even putting it in your environment itself, because at times what happens is what seems to be working may not be working. So for CISOs, I'm not sure whether how many of you follows, I follow that rigorously, is the cybersecurity framework. You need to have a cybersecurity framework for your organization where all the technologies are listed, and you know that what should fit, and then you can bucket it out, what goes into which bucket, and then what you need to prioritize and implement first, rather than jumping on to the later one first and realizing that you don't have the basic one. So that is something which needs to be completely focused upon and need to be rigorously followed. It's a journey, remember. It's not something which you are living in today and you will be implementing today itself. The technology will keep on evolving, the new product will keep on coming, the enhancement will keep on coming, the new threat actors keep on increasing, which will result into multiple new technologies as well, which may not be seen. We keep on hearing new jargon. So even if you look at it, Zero Trust, if you read the framework, it's not a new technology, a new framework which has been developed. If you read through it, it was there. There are few components which have been added to Zero Trust, which now it's been called Zero Trust. Authentication was not there. Validation was always there. We were validating, we were checking that before we implement anything, it should be authenticated, it should be genuine and authenticated, right? So why we need a word Zero Trust in that case? But yes, on top of it, when you authenticate, validate and merge both of them together, you came up with a new framework called Zero Trust. And there are other things as well. Don't go by what I'm saying, but read through it. You will get a more understanding of that technology, that framework in depth, and then only adopt those. Similarly, in SASE framework, SASE as well, if you look at it, multiple technologies got amalgamated, combined, and then came up with that framework. You have to look at it and see that what fits best for your organization, and then only implement that.
Yeah, very well said. I think we have touched upon very important aspect of probably doing the same thing but better way, right? That's how probably we've evolved. And here we comes to the last question, but I want to ask this to audience, right? So let's say cybercrime is happening in the market, and right, and then probably we as a InfoSec leader, probably technology leader, will have to empower the business to take the right decision, right? Anyone want to answer how do we probably empower the senior management to ensure that they support you whenever you need it, right? That's how it works. Before I ask the same question to the panelists. Anyone? Can I have mics, please? Yeah, let's move. That's fine. Anyone? I don't see any hands. Sorry. Yeah, so maybe Shashank, you start, right? So how do we empower probably our management to ensure that they support us at 11th hour, right?
Yeah, I guess it's all about buy-ins across. You know, as we CISOs, we fight for our soft corners from the budgets or maybe senior level. I guess it is from a cybersecurity end-to-end responsibility matrix. It's where it is said that it's not just my house which I have to take care of security. It is also our third-party vendors, our partners, our vendors, our intermediaries, everything. So it has to have that holistic view, and everyone's buy-in is really required for getting an end-to-end holistic view. That's what I feel.
Yeah, very well said. Yeah, Pawan, your thoughts?
So it is no more a difficult task.
Oh, really?
So hackers have made our life easy. So the kind of attacks which are happening, the data is getting compromised, everybody is worried about it, and the top management is very much well aware what they should be doing. The only request which I get is prioritize things.
Okay.
Yeah,
Very well.
you should implement, like I said, that you need to have a very clear framework, and that is what I always do when I go to the management. I tell them this is where we have reached, this is where I want to be in next 2 years or 3 years, and future is this. That may change because the way threats are evolving. We talked about ransomware, we talked about things which are happening. The most recent one is the ransomware. I talked about they have become extortionists, but who are the targets for those? Do you realize that? The companies who have bought cyber insurance are the most vulnerable companies in the world today, because that's a sure shot money. The attackers know they will get that kind of a money. If we don't pay, the insurer will pay. And that is how it is evolving over a period of time. And we will see much more evolution over a period in the coming days as well. We don't know today. Can we combat that? No, we can't. One, we do not have that kind of a knowledge. Second, we don't have a time. Third, we don't have that kind of a budget as well. All three components together will make us worrisome.
Absolutely.
And we can only pray to the God that something should not happen to us. I will not say that we can make the organization 100% secure, because there is no 100% security. That's a myth. And let's come to the real world and face that out. If that would have been the case, the biggest of the biggest organization would have not got hacked, which are there in the public domain. I talk about, let me name few: Target, eBay, Boeing.
Yeah. No names in the market.
No name in the market. They all have been hacked. Recent example, Policy Bazaar. They were in the news a few days back. Marriott. They all were there in the news. When Target got attacked, they had 300 security professionals sitting and working out of Bangalore. Still they got hacked. How? Nobody knows. Probably there could be a third-party API supply chain challenge, or could be something else. We don't know. But that's something which makes us worrisome. And can we project that? No, we can't. That's a dark web to which we will not have any visibility. And we need to be acceptance of that fact.
Yeah, that's a famous hooter of Amitabh Bachchan. So like last thought, Naveen and Naseem. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. See, of course, from your standpoint, hackers are mothers of invention for all the technologies I can see, because they are the one keep hacking, keep allowing the team to invent all the things whatever we do from the end to end. So that's why the things are going in the very positive way. And one maybe the last note. Most of the organizations, if you take a earlier side where we had like a quarterly assessments or yearly assessments, now since we are in the cloud, really we are not sure. I mean, yesterday night we are safe, and then tomorrow morning we are not sure where we have done the check-in and then what went wrong, right? So really we need a continuous cyber attack surface management from end to end. What's happening internally as well as externally, which will protect the organization. May not be 100%, but at some extent, right? Always we should give a tough time for the hackers. That's the best, CISO and CIO can do that.
Yeah, very well said. Thanks for that.
I would say, three things. First, definitely the hackers, I really, they make it very competitive. They are not, I would say the best part for us, they are engaging us every time. They are giving a new challenge, so that is good for our job. The second thing, I would say, nowadays, I also want to thank all that, media people. They publish all this information, drastically. There is a huge change in terms of publication of this news, which help us to convince the top management or board, or investor at that level. The third thing is that, nowadays people understand the value of data. Data monetization is very easily doable, right? And business also understand how they are going to monetize the data. I think these three things become, I say, the most important parameter to, get help from top management to CISOs.
Great. Thanks for that last input. With that, we come to an end. Thank you so much for joining the panel. You are a really great audience. And thank you so much for joining the panel.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.